Of Lagos said the people don't vote for Igbos who don't vote for them will be driven into
Lagoon.
The lagoon. So what else do you want them to say? You see them on Twitter, they have handles that are dedicated to, attacking other ethnicities.
So you think they're unapologetic about this?
They're not. And those handles have been linked to the Lagos state government people.
But you're a Yoruba man. Why are you saying this about your people?
I don't know why people just say that because you're being a Yoruba person doesn't take my humanity away. But you must understand that this is not just about landmark. There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they're holding Nnamdi Kanu.
What's your take on
for asking
Nnamdi Kanu's perpetual
Biafra.
detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. You said 120,000 of them have surrendered with foreign currency in their hand. And you have rehabilitated them. But one guy who says, we want justice, we don't want to stay in Nigeria, you are holding him perpetually, using the judiciary or judicial, subterfuge to keep the trial. Now, everybody who knows what they are doing understand that it's not a judicial matter.
So Nnamdi is essentially a political prisoner.
He's a political hostage. Well, I'll call him not a political because it may not. Whomever is in power, except me, will keep him in jail.
So do you think that Igbos generally are endangered species in Nigeria? Going back what you just narrated.
The truth, that's the truth. Nigeria did not forgive Igbos since the end of the Civil War.
What did they do?
Because they challenged the real estate of the British called Nigeria. So, and they didn't forgive them since then. So everything that's been done after that, we know this is the unspoken truth about the country called Nigeria, that they did not forgive Igbos for the Civil War.
The Igbos were the victims and they have forgiven the victims. So why is it difficult for the victors to...
You are preaching to the choir.
And because he had mentioned once that, in an interview he had mentioned that the Igbos will never be president of Nigeria. That is a perpetual, narration to keep the Igbos where they are.
Yes, so no, it's not about even the presidency. If they find an Igbo man that is malleable, that can work in their interest, they can make him president if he doesn't have any power. You can be a president of Nigeria and not have the powers of the president. When they wanted to destroy the landmark, who was the minister in charge? It's not an Igbo man.
And Moka is Igbo speaking, also fighting.
It's easier for them to use an Igbo man to carry out. If it was done by a Yoruba man, the uproar would have been worse. But you find an Igbo minister of works to help you demolish Igbo businessmen. You say, can't you see them? So it's easier that way. It's manipulation. It's how Nigeria manipulates people. But I'm not saying that if he was a Yoruba minister, he cannot demolish. They will do it too. It's easy. Anybody could have done it as long as there's an agreement to do it. Because beyond just ethnicity, there's also an elite conspiracy against Nigerian people. So an average poor person is endangered. But you are likely more endangered if you have committed a generational crime against the Nigerian real estate. Owned
by being an Igbo man.
Of course. That's the truth.
The inability of the previous government, Buhari, Jonathan, to remove fuel subsidy, and the ability of this current government, the president, to remove that subsidy, doesn't it show some kind of political will to do right?
It's not the political will.
Where others fear to trade.
No, it's not political will. See, why people like Tinubu are dangerous is that they have been in this game for a long time. And I say they are very dangerous people because they have been involved in everything. They were in the opposition. They have been in government before. So they understand the weakness of the Nigerian people. That was why the day he removed subsidy was when nobody was watching. The day everybody was watching but not paying attention, which was the day of his inauguration. And I won't be surprised that him falling on that day was programmed to distract attention. So they created content for people. Oh, Tinubu just fell, Yakata. But he did the worst thing that could happen to the economy of the people.
Was it only content? Because fuel immediately jumped from...
No, I'm not saying that. A lot of people paid more attention to the fact that he fell.
But the presidents have stated it several times that one of the reasons why he would ensure he works for the generality of the good of the people, it's because he fought the military, he risked his life, and he fought for this democracy we're enjoying.
You're saying that they didn't fight the military because they have the same characteristics. In fact, what they are doing now is worse than what the military was doing.
What are those things?
Yes. This idea of jailing children after protest, jailing people for speaking against government officials. This is what the Decree 2 and Decree 4 people were doing.
So are you saying that the president administration is worse than the military?
It is worse than the military. The military did not even jail children during their own time.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
they didn't charge children for trees.
Okay, before we travel far from the failed subsidy something, one last question. I want us to play some kind of role reversal. If you were the president, assuming you won the election, what would you have done differently regarding the failed subsidy issue?
So, what I would have done differently is, first, I am aware of the people who are stealing fuel subsidy money. I know them. I know everybody that's involved. And do you know how I know? I covered fuel subsidy, fuel matters like nobody else under Sahara reporters. I've seen all of them till today. So I would have clamped down on them immediately. And secondly, I would have fixed the refineries and created newer, smaller refineries. Because refineries are very easy to put together.
Like modular refineries?
Yes, even the ones, you can build a refinery within a year, they'll bring the parts to put it together. And the reason is simple. Even as Nigeria is unable to fix its own refineries, and they're lying about fixing the ones they fix.
I was coming to that.
Niger Delta militants are able to produce diesel in this country, large quantities.
They still produce kerosene. In fact, they bragged, there was a time they said that the kerosene that they're selling in most filling stations are supplied by them.
Yes. So if Niger Delta militants can be doing the old style biology class distillation, how is it that the federal government cannot do the same thing? But don't forget that these same people that claim that they can't build refineries went and built refinery in Ivory Coast. Yes, under Jonathan. And we're importing fuel from there. There's a refinery in Niger. Niger doesn't even have oil. They're selling fuel to Nigeria. How is that Nigeria cannot build refineries? Even the Dangote refinery, the famed Dangote, was built how many years ago? It was after occupying Nigeria that he built his refinery. Bua is going to finish his refinery very soon. All these guys benefited from forex provided by Nigerian government to build their refinery. These guys have already spent 2 years almost in power.
Yes, almost.
Because by February of 2027, election is here. So we have about, almost 2 years to go. In fact,
2026, electioneering starts.
In fact, they have started. They've started electioneering already. More poverty, so that people will come, they beg for them to at least give small. And then they will now preserve everything towards the end at their usual palliatives.
With all that the president is doing?
What has he done? Make you tell me now. Where is it that you have found the jobs that they promised they will create? Where have you found the roads that they said the money they will save from removal of fuel subsidy they will use to build it? Where have you found the hospital that they built? The only people who are doing well is the president and his people. He's the one who bought a new jet in the midst of this starvation and poverty. He's the one who bought a new Escalade, providing jobs for their own boys. That's not the issue.
So you don't believe in the tax reform policy?
What is the tax reform going to do?
Redistribution of income and resources and all of that.
For the same people. I've already talked about tax before. That what you need is to increase not taxes, but expand the tax base. And I know this because Nigeria has the lowest tax base in West Africa. And it's because the rich people are not paying taxes. But now you want to collect more from the poor, which was something exported from Lagos. They exported this whole tax collection thing from Lagos. You know where it's going to end? You're going to have private tax collectors introduced nationally.
You just sound like the president is somebody who already understands the character of Nigerians and he plays with the character. Is that what you're trying to say? That the president is deliberate with how he deals with Nigerians?
Most people don't know Tinubu as much as I know him. And it was because when we were doing pro-democracy, we knew them. We knew how they came to the pro-democracy movement and stylishly hijacked it with Nadeko and ran away from the country. Left those of us who really were doing the struggle to be endangered. Why they all disappeared?
Oh, you think that was deliberate?
It was.
So are you also of the school of thought that perhaps he was working with Abacha somehow? Because people are insinuating that there was a backyard movement, and that's why you have people like Baghdadi working in this administration.
They were close to all the politicians at that time, the SDP people. They were all close. Even Abiola.
So that means he was betrayed in Adeko at that time?
No, they were all part of it. Even Abiola cabinet, it was the cabinet Abiola wanted to use that he gave to Abacha, foolishly. I would say that any day, thinking that Abacha will hand over power to him. But there's nowhere in the world that people get power and hand it over to anybody. Not even a father will hand over power to their child except they are dying and they have no reason to keep on to power. So it's the same thing with all of them. Do you know how you understand what the game they were playing? When Abacha died, all these politicians went to meet with Abubakar. They did not ask after Abiola. Yes, we were in Lagos waiting for Abiola to be released. We saw them meeting with Abubakar. And when Abubakar took over power and handed over power, they were his greatest friends.
There is a deliberate impoverishment of the
Nigerian people. That is what, what did removal of fuel subsidy do to you?
Governors are getting more money.
Yes, governors are not poor. They are these people who are already rich who are getting more money. Are you getting
okay?
Yes.
Okay.
The rich is getting richer. The poor people are getting poorer.
So should we hold the president responsible for the fact that governors are getting more money yet that money doesn't trickle down? Those money don't trickle down to the poor people.
Do you know what has happened under the Tinubu regime? They have created a one-state system, one-party state. That's what I was trying to say. And that is that if Tinubu travels to Lagos today, all the governors will come and greet him.
Block those leakages and those loopholes in our subsidy system, and then to also call them out and thoroughly deal with those people who are gaining from the subsidy.
That's exactly why when they are retelling these stories, we must keep telling it the appropriate way. People have said that in 2012 people fought against Jonathan's subsidy and as a result have no right to complain when Tinubu removed subsidy. That's not true. What we found out during Jonathan's time after the Occupy Nigeria 2012 struggle was that we actually found out that a lot of the people who were supplying fuel weren't supplying anything. Some of them, it was found out, were importing fuel to Nigeria with ships that capsized 20 years ago. You knew about it. Some were importing water and claiming. So the port became a place for racket. All of them were arrested, or some of them were arrested. They probably arrested the small boys. But go and ask today what happened.
Welcome to Arrested Development Platform, your source for in-depth analysis of crime activities and international laws related to terrorism charges and legal proceedings. Here, we delve into the complexities of criminal cases, examining the evidence, legal arguments, and potential outcomes. We explore the international legal framework surrounding terrorism, investigating the definitions, charges, and procedures involved in prosecuting these cases. Please continue to join us as we dissect high-profile trials, analyze legal strategies, and discuss the implications of court decisions. We aim to provide informative and engaging content that sheds light on the intricacies of the criminal justice system and the fight against terrorism. Whether you're a legal professional, a student, or simply a curious viewer, Arrested Development TV offers a platform for informed discussion and understanding of these critical issues. Thanks for joining us today, and stay tuned.